The family became aware of the stress after a few days. Ever the matriarch, June knew something was up, but was unsure of how to address it. This time, her typical tough love strategy wouldn't work. To mend the divide she had inadvertently created, she needed to figure out how to go to Alana's heart. June discovered Alana sitting by herself outside one evening, taking in the sunset. She sat next to her, took a big breath, and murmured softly, "I'm sorry, Alana. I didn't mean to offend you. Even when I'm trying to be helpful, I occasionally forget how hurtful words may be." Alana gazed at her, a mixture of hope and despair in her eyes. "June, all I want is to feel important. As if I weren't just another issue to resolve." June wiped away a tear that she was unaware had fallen and nodded. "You are important. More than you realize. Despite our chaos and imperfections, we are all part of the same family. Let's make an effort to improve. For us." Something genuine but frail started to heal in that instant. Although it would not be simple, they both understood that love, despite its complexity and ferocity, was more powerful than any miscommunication. But the little town where the Thompson family had resided for generations was covered in deep shadows as the southern sun sank low. There was tension in the air, like a storm waiting to erupt inside the busy Thompson home. When it came to family, Pumpkin, Mama June's fierce and protective daughter, had never been one to back down. The other daughter of Mama June, Jennifer, was also strong-willed, but she had always handled the turmoil of their family's drama in a different way. The long-simmering tension between Jennifer and Pumpkin erupted that day. "Why don't you ever pay attention?" Pumpkin's eyes were burning from years of hurt, and her voice trembled with frustration. "You seem to be well-informed, yet you're blind to the truth." Jennifer's jaw was clenched as she crossed her arms. "And perhaps you would realize that I'm attempting to keep the family together if you weren't so quick to pass judgment." The dispute swiftly got out of hand. Old wounds were torn open, and words were hurled like daggers. The room was filled with memories of past errors, lost opportunities, and heartbreaking betrayals. When they shouted, Mama June noticed. Desperate to put an end to the conflict that threatened to split her family apart, she intervened. Mama June firmly exclaimed, "Enough," her voice quivering with emotion. "We are related. Instead of fighting like enemies, we must remain united." As the weight of their mother's words set in, Pumpkin and Jennifer looked at her, the fight ebbing from them. Pumpkin's eyes filled up with tears. "All I want is for us to be a family again." Jennifer's tone grew softer. "Me too. Perhaps we have been so preoccupied with our own suffering that we have lost sight of what is truly important." Gradually, the two sisters' rage gave way to a tentative but hopeful peace. Mama June encircled them with her arms, embracing her girls. The Thompson family took a messy, complex, but genuine first step toward healing in that instant, under the last of the sunlight. But Honey Boo Boo, now 19, slammed her glitter-covered notebook shut, determined not to let her mother's problems define her. She remarked, "I'm done waiting," to Pumpkin, who was nursing her infant at the kitchen table. Pumpkin gave a sigh. "Girl, she'll come back when she wants money or trouble or both." As she bit her lip, Honey Boo Boo questioned, "But what if she's in real danger?" "We must locate her." And then a strategy was in motion. In a heartfelt video that night, Honey Boo Boo begged for assistance in locating Mama June. It gained popularity on TikTok and attracted the attention of an enigmatic online figure known as Deo Deo. His YouTube channel was filled with conspiracy theories, true crime analysis, and strangely poignant tales of family reunions, but that was all that anyone knew about him. Within hours, he DM'd Honey Boo Boo. "I know where to look for her. However, it won't be simple." "Who are you?" she answered. "Someone who has long been observing Mama June." "Too much time." "Unsettling? Perhaps. However, creepy might be helpful in this family." With a laptop, a drone, and a small refrigerator filled with energy drinks, Deo Deo arrived the following day in a sparkly leather jacket. The sisters didn't find it impressive. Then he played a shaky security footage from a Tallahassee pawn store. It displayed Mama June with her hair in disarray, mismatched shoes, and what appeared to be Sugar Bear's old wrestling trophy. 3 days ago, She was here, Deo stated. Pumpkin muttered, "She always loved that dumb trophy." Then Honey Boo Boo said, "We follow the trail." The ensuing road journey was untidy, frantic, and completely on brand. Following Mama June's credit card charges, TikTok sightings, and even psychic visions from a woman in Mobile named Crystal Moonchild, Honey Boo Boo, Pumpkin, and Deo zigzagged across the South. They were drawing nearer. But the danger increased with each hint. An enigmatic black SUV continued to pursue them. The trail fell cold each time they approached June. It seems as though someone didn't want her discovered. One night at a motel, Honey Boo Boo muttered, Deo, what aren't you telling us?" Deo averted his gaze. "I believe June is dealing with a serious issue. Very deep. And we might sink with her if we're not careful." They found a dilapidated petrol station in the middle of nowhere after following the final hint. A cashier delivered a folded napkin to Honey Boo Boo inside. "She promised you would come," he whispered. One word was scrawled in smudged lipstick on the napkin. Leap. The black SUV screamed into the parking lot out of nowhere. Two suit-clad men leaped out. "DA," one yelled. "You're getting in the way of an ongoing investigation." "Into what?" Deo yelled. "Madam June. She is a federal case witness." Boom. It all made sense. June wasn't simply gone. She was in hiding. They were now, too. Down Honey Boo Boo took a proud stance. "I don't care who is after her. She is my mother. And I will locate her. Even if it means passing through you." Deo took out his controller for his drone. "Avoid them," he muttered. With their hearts racing, the girls crept away as the drone buzzed overhead. A motel key bearing the number 218 engraved in lipstick was their final clue. They found her as they rushed into the room. June Mama. Alive. Weeping. Surrounded by court documents and takeout cartons, she was wrapped in a blanket with a leopard print. She raised her head. "Goodbye, girl. You took too long." But no 16-year-old in the tiny hamlet of Millbrook was like Alana Jameson. Her large hoodies, worn-out sneakers, and modest smile gave the impression that she was just another junior in high school. However, most people were unaware of the strength and intricacy hidden behind those eyes. Alana's family has experienced a difficult time that no adolescent should have to go through. The family's happiness had been steadily eroded by her mother Lisa's fight with addiction. Even though Alana occasionally felt like she was barely holding everything together, her younger brother Max, who is just 8 years old, looked up to her as if she were his idol. On most days, Alana went to school, completed her assignments, and made an effort to pretend that nothing was wrong. At home, however, she was the glue that held her family together. Alana was taking care of expenses, making sure Max ate dinner, and keeping her mother from overdosing while other youngsters were preoccupied with prom or the newest TikTok fad. She seldom ever discussed it. Even her best friend Mia only saw glimmers of the real Alana, while her classmates perceived her as aloof and her teachers as bashful. Alana sat by their small apartment window one evening after a particularly trying day, gazing out at the city lights. Enjoy the video. She was holding a brochure about a rehabilitation center and a note she had discovered in her mother's drawer. Although Alana was aware that her mother required assistance, the idea of confronting that fact was frightening. Would she permanently lose her mother? Would the family make it through the impending crisis? It started like any other night before everything changed. When Alana got home early, she discovered her mother unconscious on the couch, despite Lisa's assurance that she would be sober for Max's school play. She shook Lisa to wakefulness, fear twisting in her chest. With tears running down her cheeks, Alana whimpered, "Mom, you promised." The fog lifted for a second as Lisa's eyes opened. "I apologize, sweetie. I'd like to recover." "I truly do," she whispered. At that moment, Alana decided she would do whatever it took to defend her family. Alana persuaded her mother to check herself into a treatment facility with the assistance of a sympathetic school counselor and a nearby support group. It marked the start of a protracted and agonizing journey. Rehab was challenging. There were times when Alana questioned whether things would ever return to normal, and Lisa wanted to give up. The family, nevertheless, became closer throughout this time. Lisa got the fortitude to rebuild herself, Alana learnt to rely on others, and Max gained confidence. The Jameson family had started to move on by the time Alana turned 16. Their tiny abode was filled with laughter and optimism. Alana was a fighter and the pillar of a family that would not be broken, and she was 16 years old. But Mama June had checked herself into a recovery facility 3 years prior. The careless decisions, partying, and addictions seemed like they happened ages ago. She had put a lot of effort into changing. Now she was clean, tidy, concentrated. Above all, she desired the return of her family. The world no longer knew Honey Boo Boo, whose real name was Alana Thompson, as a boisterous, reckless pageant girl. She was 16 now, tougher, smarter, and quieter. She had to mature quickly, due to life's demands. She shared a home with Pumpkin, her older sister, who had grown more like a mother than a brother. And even though she secretly still loved Mama June, a wall had been put up between them over years of broken promises. Mama June arrived at Pumpkin's driveway in a rented minivan one humid Georgia day. With an optimistic smile and a duffel bag in hand, she walked out wearing trousers and a modest floral top. Alana was using her phone to browse TikTok videos as she was on the porch. Her eyes widened as she looked up. "Mom," June said, "Hey, baby," as she ascended the stairs gingerly. "Can we have a conversation?" Alana gave a cautious nod. Pumpkin emerged from the house and used a dish towel to wipe her hands. Her face was unreadable. June started, "I've been sober for 18 months now. I got my sponsor, I got a job at the diner, and I attend meetings every week. I've changed as a woman. I swear." Pumpkin folded her arms. "Well done, Mama. You have our admiration. What do you want, though?" June's voice cracked as she continued, "I want to move back in. Stay with my girls. Make up for time lost." The silence was so heavy that it seemed like a storm was building. Alana got to her feet, gripping her phone. "Mama, you can't move in here?" June blinked in disbelief. "Why not?" Alana gave her a direct look. "Because I'm beginning to feel safe at last. I have a routine, friends, and school. My life isn't a complete mess for once. You're moving in too quickly and too much." June glanced at Pumpkin, who gave a nod of approval. "Mama, you need to restore trust. That takes time to accomplish. And it's not the way to move in now." With tears in her eyes, June collapsed onto the front steps. "I believed I was acting appropriately." "You are," Pumpkin murmured. "But being aware of other people's limits is a necessary component of healing. Mama, you caused harm. Simply because you are sober now does not mean that you can avoid the healing process." Alana's tone grew softer. "You are loved by us. However, love does not include allowing you to trample us through our life once more. You have to gradually regain your position." June dabbed at her eyes. "So what? Where should I go?" She was given a piece of paper by Pumpkin. "In Macon, there is a women's recovery home. They assist people in standing up. We'll come. On occasion, you are welcome to join us for supper. However, you must begin from the beginning." June's hands were shaking when she took the paper. "I appreciate you not giving up on me." Alana leaned down and hugged her for a moment. "Mama, we're not going to give up. However, we're also refusing to give in." The rehabilitation house had become June's home. She went to therapy, helped at the neighborhood shelter, and even began giving talks about addiction and recovery at schools. Rebuilding trust took time. She was invited to Thanksgiving by Alana. At first, it was awkward, but then the laughter returned, like a song from long ago that everyone could still sing. As June assisted with the dishwashing that evening, she saw something significant as she glanced at her daughters, Alana, Jessica, and Pumpkin, seated around the table. Being assertive and demanding space was not the essence of love. One step, one act of accountability, one day at a time, it was about being invited back. What about Mama June? At last, she was headed toward true atonement. Welcome to my channel, dear viewers. My name is Zara, and I hope you're having a great day. Remember to subscribe to the channel if you